Hi guys, remember the job Jacob Rees-Mogg was given to come up with Brexit opportunities or Brexit benefits? Do you also remember that instead of actually finding these dividends, he outsourced the work to the readers of The Sun? Talk about lazy. Anyway, another pro-Brexit newspaper, The Express, claimed that they came up with 2,000 ideas or ways to benefit from leaving the European Union. They didn't go through the whole 2,000, sadly not, but they did give us the top 9 items they'd like to see changed because Britain is no longer a member of the European Union. So let's have a look at this. Number 1, encourage fracking, shortcut rules on planning consultation via Emergency Act. Not off to a good start here, but while this isn't something that required leaving the EU for, how does it help Britain reach its net zero targets? You know, the ones that Boris Johnson and the Tories were banging on about last November when COP26 took place in Glasgow. Also, fracking is extremely problematic when it comes to the environment. Shouldn't we be getting off fossil fuels instead? Okay, maybe number 2 is better. Abolish the EU regulations that restrict vacuum cleaner power to 1400 watts. Okay, this is a pretty easy one to debunk. Now, this is part of a plan by the European Commission called Eco-Design. It was a scheme that was started back in 2017 to make electrical devices more energy efficient. But not just that, but also to make them more durable so that they last longer and there's less need for them to be produced over years. There's also been a measure by the European Commission to cut down on e-waste, which has seen millions of tons of old electrical items being sent to third world countries for dumping. Now, when it comes to the wattage, high does not always mean better, as cheaper devices with higher consumption are likely to break more often and will require more expensive disposal, a cost for all of us. The European Commission has been for years pushing manufacturers to improve energy efficiency, which means we consume less, important during a cost of living crisis, but also it means that these items last longer, meaning we also save money in the long term. Not sure how this is a bad thing. Number 3, remove precautionary principle restrictions, for instance, on early use of experimental treatments for seriously ill patients and GM crops. Not sure this is Brexit related, but also why do Brexiteers have a problem with safety standards? And also, GM crops are not banned in the EU for research. Number 4, abolish rules around the size of vans that need an operator's license. Once again, I don't think this is Brexit related, unless you want to operate that van outside the UK. Number 5, abolish EU limits on electrical power levels of electrically assisted pedal cycles. Once again, why do Brexiteers have problems with safety standards? I think this is about limiting their speed, which I think most people would agree is a good idea. Allow certain medical professions such as pharmacists and paramedics to qualify in 3 years. I don't think this is Brexit related, but is that a good idea? Number 7, remove requirements for agency workers to have all the attributes of a permanent employee. Again, this has nothing to do with Brexit, and employment rights are bad. Brexiteers don't seem to understand 2 things about EU laws and regulations. First, that the EU sets minimum standards. And second, that member states can, if they decide, ignore them. Yes, there are sometimes consequences, but not always. Number 8, simplify the calculation of holiday pay to make it easier for businesses to operate. Nothing to do with the European Union. Number 9, reduce requirements for businesses to conduct fixed wire testing and portable application testing. Not sure this is a requirement of the EU, but once again, why do Brexiteers hate safety? On the one hand, Brexiteers will say that Britain has the highest safety standards in the world, and that is correct to a certain extent. But a number of items on this list want to do away with safety standards altogether. There's a massive amount of confusion over what the EU does and what the UK was required to implement when it was a member. The public here seem to be just picking random things that they don't like and assuming it's the EU imposing it upon Britain. I hope you, like myself, are looking forward to the other 991 Brexit benefits. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.